Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we are looking at the farmhouse. Now this is the farmhouse that you see in the ever so popular Stardew Valley. So this is from Building Boat. I got this off of Amazon. I do not remember the exact cost. Of course this is all made in China, so it's not Lego bricks. It is a mock Lego set. Let's see. Place of origin, exclusive standard, all that stuff. So all the fun things here. So let's get this opened, see what we have. First time doing this. I do have another set to go along with this. And like I said, I had stumbled across this on Amazon. So if you happen to look up like Stardew, I don't even remember how I found it offhand outside of I just kind of blindly stumbled upon it. Just want to be honest. This wasn't something I was initially looking for or whatever else as I was going through all my other things. Now, the good point and bad point is this is 766 pieces. So, but I'm going to go off and see. There's a good chance that we're going to have to open up all of this to start with and then go from there. So let's keep that in mind. As we go through all this, we will probably have to open up everything, and hopefully not. I would love to be able to see that maybe some of these other companies are saying, hey, Section 4 Big 1, Section 4 Big 2. But quite often that's not what we see. So let's kind of look at what we have here. Has a breakdown of all of our parts and has Big 1, Big 2. So, I will say that it does look very much as though most companies are trying to do what Lego does and say, hey, this should be Big 1 and this should be Big 2 as they're coming up with all the instructions, and then they give it to the next company or part down the line. And unfortunately, I think what happens is they look at it as a part is a part because they're not actually actively putting it together. They just kind of throw it all out there. Now, for us as adults, we have a little bit more patience, so we can handle this a little bit better than the kids can. But I will say, even with 766 pieces, there are times where I'm just kind of, oh my goodness, I really don't feel like digging through all the parts at one time. So, if we can get some of these companies to maybe correct that. Lego is always going to be the standard for me. I will always say that, mainly because of situations like this. And we're going to try and do this Big 1, Big 2, but I don't think it's going to work out that way. But we'll see how this goes. Big 1, 2, Big 1, 1, and then we have base plates. So let's see how this goes. We'll open this up. Hopefully someone's actually getting things together in some of these other little companies, and they're actually actively doing this. Now, this would be a wonderful set if Lego was to have gotten the franchise rights to doing this or whatever, but because they don't, we have what we have, and I'm not complaining. It's still fun to see what some of these other companies come up with for solutions for some common issues. Lego does a really good job, but there are times where I think someone else has got a different view on it. Sometimes it works, and sometimes, being honest, it really doesn't. So just looking at it in those regards. It's always fun building these, but sometimes, and I have one ship that's been, I have a copy of the Ghost that I bought as a mock build, and it's been sitting incomplete for the last 7 years. Every time I start trying to put things together, it just keeps falling apart, and I've just sworn it off, and I've had the cat step on it. India's officially broken it. I may have to rebuild it at some point, but we have all these other sets to get to in the meantime and have fun with. So, we'll see how this goes. So, not knowing what we're diving into, Big 1, 1. Here we are. Now let's get my book out of the way. So hopefully we can get everything going here. All right, so now that we got her all done, this is my second time trying to hopefully get this recorded because my computer's having issues as I'm having some slight problems here. All right, so getting into this, everything worked out a lot better than I had thought. The bags did, as you had seen, gone 1-1 to 1-2, 2-1, 2-2, so on and so forth. So that worked very nicely. Makes this a lot nicer. So if we do happen to give these to kids, it works very well. We do have one cat, 2 chickens, and a dog, as well as having our scarecrow here, which is a lot of fun to kind of say that we have our scarecrow to try and keep our crops doing pretty good here. We do have our delivery box, so we can put our produce and all of our stuff for the day into our box, as well as having our mailbox here. We do not have a figure here. I did have a figure. I think I put him on the inside, which I'm sure that we'll hear him fall out here shortly because we're going to pick this up. So hopefully you can see this a little bit better. We do have a nice working door here, so that helps to add a little extra fun. We do have our wood blocks here, so you can try and get the fireplace going and all that. As well as having one tree here, and we do have the doghouse sitting underneath the tree. So this nicely done in those regards. This does open up a little bit, more so on the one side than the other, mainly because we do have our storage here for our wood, so it stays nice and dry. It doesn't get all wet on us, and we can put all that together. And then we have our chimney here. So flipping this around, we do have this nicely outfitted on the inside. So you can see everything. We do have a picture here on the one wall. We have our bed in the back, as well as a chair, a table. We have our fireplace, and right next to our character here, we do have a TV sitting there. So we can find out what today's weather is going to be and go from there. Nicely done, very simplistic on the inside. It doesn't need a lot because the game didn't give us a ton, although those were other things that we could upgrade to later. But this is our starting house, so it works very well to be just a starting house here. But all in all, nicely done, a great addition. They are learning. When I first started this, I didn't know how the build was going to go because quite often I do find we have a ton of bags worth of pieces all over the place, but they did keep it in smaller amounts, so it made it a fun build to go all the way around. So nicely done. Companies are learning. I hope that they keep doing stuff like this. I hope more companies start doing this. That does make it a lot funner when we're looking at getting off brands, not quite Lego. Lego is always, as I've said before, kind of my gold standard because they've been doing it probably the longest. And the other thing is they're doing it with, for the most part, kids in mind. And as other companies kind of learn that a little bit more, I think they can do a little bit better. It is nice seeing a couple different, a little variety here of the different kind of fruits and vegetables. This was a little tricky to kind of pull off, and it's not sitting quite right. It is off a little bit, so just one of those things here. I'm kind of, something's not quite sitting right here, and that's where I'm having my issues. I don't know what I did wrong on this one compared to the other two sides, but it is what it is. Sits on here pretty good. It's just trying to get the whole build to sit exactly the way it's supposed to. Now as I took that apart, now it doesn't want to go right back on there. So, but it is fun. It works out pretty well. It's just some minor little issues. But a nice build altogether. Nicely done. So with that, thank you so very much for joining me. Hope you enjoyed the build. We do have the community center to get to. I ordered that one as well. I don't know when I'll get to that one, but hopefully sometime soon we'll have that one as well. So we can add to our little farming village here. So hope you're having a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video.